I have somebody on the other side. Let me read the title first. She is the USA representative for the Icelandic National League in Iceland, first vice president of the Icelandic National League of North America, president of the non-profit Icelandic Roots, board member of the Icelandic Communities Association of North Dakota, director for the Icelandic Online Club. How about I just call you Sunna?
That would be perfect.
How are you doing?
Very good. It's a great day here in North Dakota.
Oh, thank you very much for making me jealous. Again, we have rain and drizzle and storm warnings and I don't know what.
Well, I'm hoping that when I arrive on Saturday morning in Iceland that I bring some summer with me.
Oh, please do. You would be more than welcome if you do that. So how warm is it there now?
It is going to be 31 today.
Celsius.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very nice. I don't think I've ever seen numbers like that here in Iceland.
No, it's going to be a nice warm day and 15 for a low, so gets nice and cool at night, but really sunny and hot during the day.
Oh, very nice. So the Icelandic National League of North America, what are you guys up to?
Well, it is a great organization that's a cultural organization, non-political, and we promote and preserve our Icelandic heritage and culture and try to keep our connection strong with people in Iceland that are of Icelandic heritage and try to keep connected with our cousins, we call them.
How big is it? How many are you there? Do you have your own big housing and libraries and whatnot? What do you have there?
It's a membership organization, so we have 29 member organizations, so plus individual members. So in North Dakota, there's 2 different Icelandic clubs, and they belong to the Icelandic National League.
Okay.
And then in Minnesota, there's 2, and Winnipeg, there's 2, and there's 8 in the United States and 20 in Canada. And then we have the Icelandic Online Club, which is open to anyone, whether they live in Iceland or France or Japan or US or Canada. And so, yeah, it's a great organization.
Sounds like a very big organization.
It is, but it is all these member clubs. So, each different club from all over North America, they belong to the Icelandic National League.
Do you have events and stuff like that too?
Yep.
What kind of events do you have?
We just finished our convention in Minneapolis. And then the next convention is going to be next year in Vancouver at the end of April. And then the next year it'll be in North Dakota. And so the member clubs take turns hosting the conventions. Then we have different things like the Snorri program, which is held in Iceland. We help to promote that. And then we have a program here in North America called Snorri West. And we take people ages 18 to 28 from Iceland, and we bring them here to North America to different various settlement areas.
Wow.
And they can be here for 4 weeks, and we teach them about the Vestur Íslendingar, the Western Icelanders.
And how do these people get chosen? Do they apply, or if so, where do they apply?
They apply, and the website is real easy. It's just www.snorri.is. And on that site, you can find information on the Snorri program in Iceland, and we have North American kids that go there for 6 weeks, and they take a lot of kids, and they do an amazing job, and that's through the Icelandic National League in Iceland, or it's excuse my Icelandic
absolutely no worries. We only speak English here anyway, or try.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Because I could say it in Icelandic, but it's the Icelandic National League in Iceland, and they do just an amazing job with those kids. And then there's a Snorri Plus, which is for people over the age of 28, So of course I fit in that demographic.
So these trips, is that are the kids fully paid for it? Do they get their air ticket and food and everything, or how does it work?
Iceland Air helps with the tickets
Okay.
on both ways, the kids to Iceland and the kids back to North America, either way. And then the Icelandic National League in Iceland does an amazing job of fundraising and helping to pay about half of the costs. And then in North America, same thing. The Icelandic National League here helps the kids from Iceland traveling to North America. And then there's scholarships that the kids can apply for. And there's various organizations and the member groups. There's some of the member groups like Calgary and Toronto and North Dakota, and then my nonprofit Icelandic Roots. We give scholarships. The kids can apply for scholarships for these programs. And they have to come up with a little bit of money on their own, but considering the cost of the program, they get to travel for a great price.
Sounds like a fantastic opportunity. I think if I was a kid, I would jump on something like that. I love traveling. I love to visit places and see all kind of stuff.
Well, last year we had, I think, 22 applicants for this summer to come from Iceland to North America, and we could only accept 4. And so we were just so like, how can we get more kids to come? How can we make this bigger? And so we're trying to brainstorm and try to bring more of these young adults over to North America. And, you know, the program in Iceland for the North American kids, they take like 16 to 20 kids, and they do just such a great job. But of course, Iceland is the size of North Dakota, and we're trying to do this in North America. So they're in, you know, all the way from Edmonton to Calgary to Winnipeg to North Dakota to Minneapolis to Washington, D.C. to Vancouver, you know, to Toronto. I mean, we're covering quite a big area. So
sounds like a huge area.
Yeah, so it's a little harder.
I'm going to post about this on our Facebook wall. But what about, for example, Americans who wants to get to know Iceland and their culture? Are you open for them too if they would come to your club and organization? Do you help them out too?
Yep. We have all kinds of programs, and there's a international visits program, and INL Reads, which is a book club kind of a thing that we choose a book, and Nancy Marie Brown is a amazing writer that we've chosen her book this year to read. And then there's a calendar program, and we have movies. We have movies from Iceland that we send around to the member clubs so that they can watch Icelandic movies.
Very nice.
And there's biography programs and the settlement tours. I mean, we're doing a lot of fun things, and of course there's always room for more ideas and more fun.
Of course. The only problem is that there's only 24 hours in a day. It's like here at the radio station, there's so much we can do, but we only have 24 hours a day. So what's your story then? Are you born there, or tell me your story?
My great-grandparents on my dad's side were all born in Iceland. And my dad is Icelandic. My mom is Norwegian and Scottish and Irish. And she likes to say that it's, the Icelanders, of course, are just the people from Norway and Iceland and Scotland that got kicked out.
Yes, of course.
And then, of course, my dad likes to say, it's just the beautiful Norwegians and Irish and Scottish that went to Iceland. So they go back and forth and tease each other.
Of course.
There's a really neat story about the Icelanders in northeast North Dakota and how they got there and how they made this settlement. And there's different settlements all over North America, but of course I grew up in the settlement area of northeast North Dakota in a place called Thingvalla.
Yes.
And I just was really interested in my Icelandic heritage, and we sang Icelandic hymns in church, and we had Icelandic visitors that would come to our farm, and my amma would have us all line up and sing Icelandic songs to the visitors, and we had pannukakor and kleiner and víntetta and handikit and livrapilsa and all of the good Icelandic treats. And so we grew up knowing about that. And so when I became older and started doing genealogy, like all good Icelanders should, then I got even more and more into it. And here we are today, me volunteering about 50 hours a week, doing all Icelandic all the time.
Oh, there you go. So do you eat hankikjöt during Christmas?
Yes, yep, for sure. And we have a Thorablot in North Dakota.
And do you eat those nasty things too, like the sour ram's balls and stuff like that?
Yep, we have some friends and cousins that I know in Iceland, and they make sure that we have all the goodies.
I must admit, I've eaten a lot of weird food all around the world. Those sour ram's balls are the only thing that I had the hardest time to put in my mouth, and I just took a micro piece of it. I have no clue how it tasted, but my mind tells me it's absolutely horrible. my mind just blocked it. I couldn't eat it.
It takes some getting used to, I'll say.
I would say so, yes. It could be that if that was the last thing on earth to eat, I'm sure I would die. So what's your favorite with our traditional Icelandic food then?
Oh, for sure, pannukakor.
Okay.
And I love handikit with brown bread. And of course, skyr. But we have a harder time getting that here. So when I go to Iceland on Saturday morning, I'll be making sure I stock up on my Icelandic skyr.
And will you? Does your relatives live in Reykjavik, or are you going out to the countryside?
Most of them live in Reykjavik now, of course. But I have cousins that live in Borgarnes, Blönduós, Söderkrókur, Akureyri, over in Vapnafjörður, and Selfoss.
Are you going to visit them all?
On this tour, I'm not going to be visiting too many people. I'm actually taking our 2 little granddaughters and a family teenage friend. So we'll be just staying in Reykjavik and doing some local events, and then we have the Icelandic National League in Iceland has the Snorri Kids there right now, and there's a big party at the president of the Icelandic National League, Halldór Arnason. We'll have a party for the Snorri Kids at his house on the 17th of June, so the kids will get to go to that, but I'll be back again in August, and then I'll be in the north a lot during that time.
If you have the time, feel free to come here and say hi and have a cup of coffee and have a talk, maybe more talk on air.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
I would like that.
Very fun. And I must say this was great fun, and I'm going to post this snorri.is on our Facebook and let more people know about you. Let's see what will come out of that. How do you pronounce your last name?
Well, I'm married to a guy with German roots, and so his last name is Furstenau.
Well, then I guessed correctly, actually.
And my maiden name was Olafsson.
Okay. Not Ólafsdóttir then.
I know. I wish that we did have that way of naming. Then I would be actually Robertsdóttir.
Okay. I must say that I'm not an Icelandic myself. I do carry an Icelandic citizenship, originally from Finland, but I absolutely love the Icelandic name law with you become, for example, Snorradóttir or Snorrason, and the best of it all is that most of the time the women keep their last name when they get married.
Yes.
I really like that. I don't get it why a woman should take the man's name. I think that's a little bit of a sexist thing.
I know after I started learning more about Icelandic, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have kept my last name, but I love my husband. We've been married like 33 years, so it's okay, and I like my Furstenau name.
Very good. Anyway, Sunna Furstenau in North Dakota. I'm not going to read all your titles, but you're at the Icelandic National League in Iceland. Thank you very much. And you've been listening to Radio Iceland, where we do all Icelandic music and English talk.